Hello everyone, I am Dr. Preeti Khulbe, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. And in today's topic, we are talking about quality management system, the ISO 9000 family of standards. In this, we have already uploaded 3 videos related to this QMS. So you can also watch those videos. In that videos we have discussed about the journal consideration as well as the journal consideration related to the quality management system, also the principles, quality management principles, and the classes and subclasses of quality management we have discussed in our last video. So now the learning objectives. So upon completion of this topic, the student should be able to learn about the quality management system, about quality by design concept, as well as Six Sigma concept. So in today's video, we have discussed about all these things, like what is quality management, what are the quality management principles, what is this quality by design, what is the concept behind quality by design, when to use the Six Sigma method, or what is the Six Sigma concept in the quality management system. So all these things we will discuss here. Next is learning outcomes. So on successful completion of unit, the students will be able to know about the concept and use of GLP, that is what is good laboratory practices, and how we can use this GLP in our quality management system. Other than that, role of ISO 14000. What is this ISO 14000? What is this NABL? What does NABL stand for? The concept of like out of a specification, why OS is important, what is change control, when to file for change control, what is this ISO 9000 whole series. There are many amendments in the ISO series. So what are those amendments, in at what year the ISO 9000 series has amended. So all these things we will discuss in this lecture. We have already discussed most of the things in our previous videos also, so you can also watch them. Sorry, yeah, okay. Now the so next is ISO 9001 requirements of a quality management system. So in ISO 9001, all the requirements which are there, which are related to the quality management system in an organization, are maintained. Benefits, like general requirements of the quality management system. So as per ISO 9001 2008, in previous video we have discussed about ISO 9000 2000, ISO 9000 2005. Now here the ISO 9001 2008 general requirements are there. So the organizations shall establish the document, implement and maintain the quality management system, and continually improve its effectiveness in accordance with the requirements of this international standards. So basically the requirement is related to the documentation, which is related to the establishment of an organization, the documentation, the implementation of quality management principles, the maintenance of quality management, etc. So the organization shall determine the processes needed for the quality management system and their application throughout the organization. So when we talk about the this requirement, so in the requirement it is there that the processes which were needed for the quality management, and we should determine its applications for the organization, the processes which we are using. Similarly, determine the sequence and interaction of these processes are important. That is, ऐसा नहीं है कि आप कोई भी process किसी भी time पे use कर लें, so that means we have to check for the sequence and if there is any interaction between the processes or not. So this also we need to check for the maintaining the or for developing the quality assurance in our organization. Similarly, determine the criteria and method needed to ensure that both the operations and control of these processes are effective. So we need to also check that all the criteria as well as methods which are needed to ensure for the operation as well as control of these processes, these should be effective. Ensure the availability of resources and information necessary to support the operation and monitoring of these processes. Okay, so again this is also important to ensure the availability and resources and all the information which are required or the necessary for the support of operation as well as monitoring of the processes. Now monitor, measure the where applicable and analyze these processes. So the analysis of these processes and monitoring of these processes are also important. Now implement actions so necessary to achieve the planned results and continual improvement of these processes. So this implementing action is also necessary. So these are some general requirement as per the ISO QMS 9001 2008, ISO 9008 for the QMS. So these are basically we can say 8 things are there. First is determine the process needs needed for this quality management system and its application, determine the sequence and interaction of these processes, determining the criteria and method needed to ensure that both the operations and control of these processes are effective. Similarly, ensuring the availability of resources and information necessary to support the operation as well as monitoring of these processes. Similarly, monitor, measure where applicable and analyze these processes and implement actions necessary to achieve planned results and continual improvement of these processes. Now the general requirement, that is outsourcing. So where an organization chooses to outsource any process that affect the product conformity to requirements, the organization shall ensure the control over such processes. So we can say that if we are talking about the outsourcing, so any process which we are outsourcing should affect the product conformity for the requirement also. The type and extent of control to applied to these outsourced processes shall be defined within the quality management system. Okay, so how to control that outsourced person, outsource processes as well as the type and extent is also be included in the QMS of that particular organization. Next is the document requirement as per ISO 9001 2008. The document requirement covers the quality management system documentation shall include this. We have already discussed in our last class also that there are many documents which are required in the QMS. Some are dependent upon the company to company. Some documents are differ, but some are major which should be there in the company. So the documented statements of the quality policy and quality objectives are necessary. A quality manual, documented procedures and records required by this international standards are important, and documents including records determined by the organization to be necessary to ensure the effective planning, operation and control of its processes. So basically the quality policy document, quality objective document, quality manual documents are the important ones. Other than that, all the procedures and record which are there should also be included in in that quality documentation. Other than that, documents also includes the records as well as the planning, operation and control processes records related to the QMS. Now the quality manual that includes the scope of quality manual की अगर हम बात करें, so quality manual we have already discussed in our previous video also. It covers the all the things related to the company. It is there. So if we talk about the quality manual, so it includes the scope of the quality management system. That is why what are the scopes, why we are using this quality management system, including details and justification of any exclusions. So if there is any exclusion, so its detail should be mentioned and justification should be mentioned in that. The documented procedure is established for the quality management system or reference to them, and a description of any of the interaction between the processes of the quality management principle are also there. So a description of interaction, the interaction the description should be there, and between the processes of the quality manual. So these three things should be there in the quality manual. Okay, now control of documents. As per ISO 9001 2008, there is an important thing which is there is the control of documents. So how to control the documents, this is there. So the documents required by the QMS shall be controlled. Okay, so when we talk about when we talk excuse me, so when we talk about the ISO 9000 and 2008, so documents required, document control is one of the important thing which is there. So documents required by the QMS shall be controlled. A documented procedure shall be established to define the controls need. Okay, so what is the needed, why the control is needed? To approve the requirements of for the adequacy prior to issue is important. How we can review the control the documents. So is for this the approval of documents accuracy adequacy is important. Second is to review and update as to review and update as necessary and reapprove the documents. Again, this is the important thing, that what are the necessary updates which are there in the documentation. Also, the reapproval of the documents is important to ensure that the changes and the current revision status of the documents are identified. So we should ensure that the current status, current revision status of documents are identified, to ensure that relevant versions of applicable documents are available at point of use. Okay, so use के लिए भी it is like relevant version for applicable to the documentation. To ensure that documents remain legible and readably identifiable. So for this it is also important that it should be identifiable and it should be legible. To ensure that documents of external origin determined by the organization to be necessary for the planning and operation of the QMS are identified and their distribution controlled, and to prevent the unintended use of obsolete documents, and to apply the suitable identification to them, and if they are retained for any purpose. Okay, so records are a special type of documents and shall be controlled according to different requirements. So when we talk about the control of document, okay, so it is very essential to ensure that our document is remains legible and readable for and identified for long period of time. When you are storing the document, so you should store it like that it should be legible, it should be readable after so many times also. Okay, जैसे हम पुराने टाइम की बात करें, अगर हम कोई भी पेन से लिखी हुए पेपर को इफ विल होल्ड, इफ विल स्टोर इट फॉर लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, तो क्या होती है, पेन की इंक या पेंसिल की इंक धीरे धीरे इरेज होने लग जाती है. सो वी कैन यूज द टाइप फॉर्मेशन, वी कैन use the document, we can store the document in the in your soft copy also. So this type of things we can use. Okay, similarly it should also be there that we should ensure that changes and current revision status of the document. Okay, so that is, ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने पहली बार, for example you have checked for anything, like for example you have checked for the temperature, raise in temperature in the DT machine. Okay, and after that it is very less, for example it is only 20 तक उसका टेम्परेचर रेज हो रहा है, जब आप उसको रन कर रहे हो ऑपरेटर्स को, तो उसको आपने रिपेयर कराया, तो दूसरा डॉक्यूमेंट जिसमें क्या है, चेंज टेम्परेचर है, वो वहाँ पे उसके साथ में प्लेस होना चाहिए. सो दैट मीन्स इट इज़ वेरी इसेंशियल टू इंश्योर दैट द रिविजन्स, रिलेवेंट जो रिविजन्स है, करंट रिविजन स्टेटस ऑफ द डॉक्यूमेंट should be identified and should be there. So that means each and every process which are there in the company should be well documented. Okay, other than that, to control the documentation, it is also important to approve the adequacy prior to the issue. That is, you should check, and you should properly read, you should properly check the document, so that the document, adequate document we can place. Okay. Now, next is yeah. So all these things are important when we are talking about the control of documentation. Also, some important things includes as like here. Some important things are also there, and according to that, it is there that the record, it is mentioned in 2009 ISO 9001 2008 that records are very special type of document and shall be they shall be controlled according to the different requirements. Okay. So next is control of records, ISO 9000 2008. Related to next thing which is related to the control of records are records established to provide the evidences of conformity to requirements and of the effective operation of the quality management system shall be controlled. The organization shall establish a documented procedure to define the controls, to define the controls needed for the controls needed for the identification, storage, protection, retrieval, retention, and disposition of records. Records shall remain legible, readily identifiable, and retrievable. So all these things we should keep in our mind when we are controlling the document for any organization, that the documents also documents should be well defined, documents should be well identified, it should be stored properly, it should be protected properly, it should be retention of documents should be proper, as well as disposition of records should also be included in the QMS, control of documentation. And as per this, the records shall remain, always remain legible, readily identified, and retrievable. This we have already discussed in our last slide. So this is related to the requirement of quality. Now next is the ISO 9001 management responsibility. So Management responsibility. So management, when we talk about the management commitment and customer focus, so as per this, the management commitment and customer focus are the important thing, and this is the responsibility of top management. So top management shall provide the evidence of its commitment to the development and implementation of the quality management system, and continually improving its effectiveness by communicating the organization the importance of meeting the customers as well as the statutory and regulatory requirements. Okay, so this communication between the organization is the statutory and the regulatory body through the meetings, so meeting with customers are very important, and it is there included in the top management's responsibility. Now, establishing the quality policy. So another implementation of quality management system is by establishing the quality policy. So this is again the responsibility of the top management, and the is there should focus on the customer, and on the basis of that we should establish the or top management should establish the quality policy. Next is ensuring that the quality objectives are established. So we need to ensure that all the quality objectives should established and well defined. Okay, next is conducting management review. So while we are focusing on customers' need, so we need to conduct the management review also time to time or periodically. We need the management, then ensuring the availability of resources. So all these are some important things which are comes under the management commitment and customer focus. So very common is the communication between the parties, then establishing the quality policy, establishing or ensuring the objectives, conducting customer management review, as well as ensuring the availability of resources. Similarly, top management shall ensure that customer requirements are determined and are met with the aim of enhancing customer satisfaction. Okay, so top management should be there, which should take the responsibility of fulfilling the customer's requirement and determining the customer requirement, and enhancing the customer satisfaction by maintaining, or by we can say by उसको मतलब फुलफिल करके उसकी कस्टमर्स की नीड को can enhance the customer satisfaction with the company. Okay, so this is again a very important criteria related to the quality management system, because quality management system is related to the quality. Okay, when you are talking about the quality, so if the quality is maintained, obviously the customer is satisfied. Okay, so customer satisfaction and quality management both are interrelated. Next is management and quality policy. So top management shall ensure that the quality policy is appropriate to the purpose of the organization. It includes a commitment to comply with the requirements and continually improve the effectiveness of the quality management system. So the top management should ensure the quality policy. It should it should improve the effectiveness of quality management. It should give the framework that establishing and reviewing the quality policies, so that how we can review our quality policy, how we can make good changes in our quality policies. So all these are important things. Is communicated Quality policy is communicated and understood within the organization. So within the organization, quality policies should be communicated, and it should be understood easily, and it should review for continuing suitability. It is the management related to the quality policies. Okay, so these are some important rules of top management related to the quality policy. Okay, so purpose, to find out the proper purpose comply the requirement and to work on the improvement of quality management system, provide the framework related to reviewing and establishing of quality objectives. Okay, because quality objective and quality policies, quality manual, all are interrelated. Okay, quality manual is document which covers all the things, and quality policies which we should first make on the basis of customers' requirement, and then we have to then as per the quality policies we can set up certain objectives to compile or to to satisfy these policies. Now, next is management responsibilities on planning. Now, planning is again one of the very very important part of the top management. So when we talk about the planning, so the quality responsibility of planning. So quality objectives are first. So top management shall ensure that all the quality objectives should include including those needed to meet the requirement of the product, are established at relevant functions and levels within the organization. The quality objectives shall be measurable and consistent with the quality policies. So when we are making certain quality objectives and quality policies, so we should think on it that the all the quality policies and all the quality objectives shall be measurable and consistent. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप इन्हें बस जनरल टर्म्स में बात करें, but it should be measurable. आप ऐसा नहीं कह सकते यार quality is good, but you should have some specific definition or specific things so that we can measure that good quality results. Okay, similarly the management quality management system planning. So top management shall ensure that the planning of quality management system is carried out in order to meet the general requirements as well as the quality objectives. Okay, so when we talk about the quality planning, so again the top management is involved there, and it should be keep this thing that the how the what is the order of meeting of general requirements as per the quality objective. The integrity of the quality management system is maintained when changes in the quality management system are planned and implemented. Okay, when we implement this the quality management system, and when we implement the changes in the quality management system, again the quality management planning is there. Planning should be there, means well planned things should be there, we can say. Okay, so yeah, well planned system should be there. So we can say here, and the management or responsibility on planning, quality objective and quality management system planning are important. Quality management includes top management shall ensure that the quality objectives, including those needed to meet the requirements of for the product, are established and at relevant functions and the levels within the organization. The quality objectives shall be measurable and consistent with the quality policies. This is related to the quality objective. Now, on the basis of this quality objective, we can also define we have discussed about the quality planning. Okay, so quality management system planning. So top management shall ensure that the planning of the quality management system is carried out in order to meet the general requirements as well as the quality objectives. Okay, the integrity of the quality management system is maintained when changes to the quality management system are planned and implemented. Now next is the uh, responsibilities, authorities and communication. Responsibilities, authorities and communication. So again for all these things the top management is involved. So top management shall ensure that the responsibilities and authorities are well defined and are communicated within the organization. Okay, so for proper effective QMS system, there should be a proper communication within the organization should be there. So इसका मतलब ये है कि the responsibilities, authorities and roles of each and every person should be well defined and always and communicated. That is मतलब क्या है, for example in your company one is MD, uh, he has some responsibilities, one is journal manager, that is GM, so उसकी कुछ responsibility होगी, कोई normal manager होगा, कोई trainee होगा, so all the responsibilities, all the authorities, ठीक है, क्या authority किसकी है, किसका क्या responsibility है, it should be clear to everyone, so it should be well defined as well as well communicated within the organization. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपके organization में किसी को पता ही ना हो कि कौन एमडी है, कौन जीएम है, किसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या है, किस काम के लिए हमें किसके पास जाना है. सो दैट इज द सिंपल थिंग लाइक दिस. ओके, सो टॉप मैनेजमेंट shall ensure that the responsibility and authorities are well defined and communicated within the organization. Now, top management shall appoint a member of the organization's management who, irrespective of other responsibilities, shall have responsibility and authority that includes. So, top management shall be appointed as a member of organization's management, and it should, have the responsibilities related to the their job, as well as along with this other authorities that includes the ensuring that process needed for the quality management system are established, implemented and maintained. So other than the general responsibility, other than the management of top management, the responsibility, it should also have the authority to ensuring that all the processes which are there in the in the organization should be in this the which process is needed for the QMS, it should establish, it should be implemented and maintained well. Next is the reporting to top management on the performances of the quality management system. So that is the top management, what is the responsibility of top management and how it is the perform and what is the performance of quality management system and what is the need of the improvement of this. So all these things should be well documented and should be the responsibility of the organization's member or top management. Other than that, ensuring the promotion of awareness of customers' requirement throughout the organization. So that means we can say that if in any organization what type of awareness program we should किस type के awareness program चलाने हैं and what are the promotions related to the awareness we should conduct. So all these things are responsibility of the top management. So we can say that top management shall ensure the responsibilities, authority, and it should be well defined and well communicated. And the top management shall appoint a member of the organization's management, and who irrespective of other responsibilities shall have the responsibility and authority that includes the ensuring that processes needed for the quality management systems are established, implemented and maintained, putting to the top management on the performances of the quality management system and any need for the improvement, ensuring the promotion of the awareness, that awareness of the customers requirements throughout the organization. The top management shall ensure that appropriate communication processes are established within the organization and that communication takes place regarding the effectiveness of the quality management system. So how the quality management system is effective and all these things, communication related to this should be well documented in this. Now the yes, management review. So top management shall review the organization's QMS. So Whatever is top management there, so it should be responsible for the review of QMS in the organization. ठीक है, किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में QMS फॉलो हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है, या क्या किस तरीके से फॉलो हो रहा है, क्या उसमें अमेंडमेंट्स चाहिए. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स the top management will review and will decide. So at planned intervals to ensure its continuing suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness, this review shall include the assessing opportunities for improvement and the need for changes to the QMSs, again the important or matter of review. Now, including the quality policy and quality objectives, records from the management review shall be maintained. So now what are the records and how it is maintained? So first one is the review input and second one is review output. So both the things are important. Review input and review output are important in case of management review or it is related to the top management. Review input includes the result of audits. So all the audits which are there in the company should be reviewed by the top management. Customer feedbacks are taken as well as reviewed by the top management. Processes performed and product conformity. So processes which are performed in the organization and what are the product conformity, this also be reviewed by the top management. Other is status of preventive and corrective actions. If there is any miss happening, or we can say if there any error occurs, so what are the preventive and corrective measures are taken, so it should also be reviewed by the top management. Next is follow up actions from the previous management review. So पहले के management पहले कुछ था तो QMS था या कोई भी management है उसमें क्या follow ups हुए हैं, so follow up actions should also be reviewed by the top management. Other is the changes that could affect the QMS recommendations. Some changes which are required, which are necessary for the company organization, and it can change, it can affect the QMS system, so it should also be reviewed by the top management. Last is recommendations for improvement. So if there is any change you want to do which can change the QMS, so recommendations related to the improvement in the QMS also be sent by the top management. Then this is about the review inputs. Now review outputs. So outputs is the improvement of the effectiveness of the QMS and its processes. So if there is any improvement, so after the improvement is if we check to check the effectiveness of QMS as well as process is the role of top management. Other than that, improvement of the product related to the customer's requirement. If we are making certain product or the company or an organization is making certain product and they need to review it as per, or improve it as per the customer's requirement. So if they improved it, so that improvement results are also reviewed by the top management. Last but not the least, resources needed. So what are the resources which are there and what are needed for the studies for the for the organization, this all should be decided and reviewed by the top management. Okay, so we can say that the top management can review the inputs as well as outputs. Inputs include result of audits, customer feedback, processes performance and product conformity, status of preventive and corrective actions, follow-up actions from previous management review, changes that could affect the QMS, recommendations for the improvement. Similarly, review output includes the improvement of the effectiveness of the QMS and its processes, improvement of product related to the customer requirements and resources needed. Okay, now, yeah. Now, objective questions. So, first objective question is how many steps in the development of QMS are there? So, we have already discussed this in our last lecture also, and in this lecture also we have discussed that there are multiple steps in the QMS are there. So, it is 5, 6, 7 or 8. So, the right answer is 8. That means 8 steps are there in the development of QMS process. Next is steps in the development of QMS process includes. We have discussed that there are 8 steps. कौन से steps इसमें include होते हैं? Establishing the quality policies, determining the processes and responsibilities necessary to attain the quality objective, establishing methods to measure the effectiveness and efficiency of each processes are all mentioned. So steps in the development of QMS includes D answer, that is the all mentioned. So establishing the quality policies, determining the processes and responsibilities necessary to attain the quality objectives, establishing methods to ensure to measure the effectiveness and efficiency of each process, as well as all mentioned. So all mentioned, the answer is correct. Next is values of documentation in the QMS includes. So values includes the achievement of conformity, customers requirement and quality improvement, repeatability and traceability, provisions of objective evidence, all mentioned. So the values of documentation in QMS includes. The answer D is correct. That is all mentioned. That is value of documentation in QMS include the achievement of conformity to customer requirement, repeatability, traceability, and provisions of objective evidences. Next is not a type of documentation for QMS. So we have already discussed there are many, many documentation which are required for the QMS. Which is a part of QMS. So which is not there. So records, yes, records are the part of QMS. Registers, obviously registers are the part of QMS. Guidelines are the part of QMS, and last one is quality manual. So what is not there in the not a part of QMS, so that is registers, because it is not there in the QMS document. Requirement, reports, guideline, quality manuals, quality policies, all are there, but registers are not there. So that means answer B is correct. Next is quality plan in QMS includes description of, okay, so description of product, project, contract or all mentioned. So all mentioned हमेशा correct नहीं होता. So that means quality plan in QMS includes the contract, not the product, not the project, not all mentioned. The answer C is correct. That is quality plan in QMS includes the description of product, project, description of the contract. Okay. So we have in today's video we have discussed about general quality management principles, in which we have discussed about the ISO 9000 series, ISO 9001, that is requirement of the quality system management system. In this general requirement of QMS as per the ISO 9001 2008 we have discussed. Then we have discussed the general requirement related to the outsourcing. We have also discussed the general documentation requirement for the QMS as per ISO 9001 and 2008. We have also discussed about the control of document as per ISO 9000 and 2008, how to control the document. Then next we have discussed about the ISO 9001 series, that is the management responsibility as per ISO 9001. So management commitment and customer focus is the first management responsibility. Then management and quality policies, how the role of top management in the ensuring the quality policies, this we have discussed. Other than that, we have also discussed about management responsibility on planning. So if you are planning something, so what are the management responsibilities, like quality objective, quality management system planning, etc. Now responsibility, authority and communication of the quality management system we have discussed. Other than that, we have also discussed about the management review related to the QMS. So in this we have discussed that we can review the inputs, management can review their inputs as well as output. Okay, so we other than that we have discussed about the objective questions. How many steps in the document in the development of QMS are there? 8. We have discussed steps in the development of QMS includes all the mentioned thing like establishing quality policies, responsibility determination, establishing of method and its effectiveness. We have also discussed about the value of documentation in QMS system, and in this again the all mentioned answer is correct. That is achievement of conformity to customer as per requirements and quality improvement, repeatability, traceability, and process of evidence. Not a type of QMS, so register is not a type of QMS documentation. Quality management plan QMS description includes the all mentioned, not all mentioned, that is contract. Okay, so these are the references. For references, you can visit the different sites, or you can directly check out it into the Google for detail. You can also go for the recent papers for detail related to the current status of QMS in the organization, as QMS is a very important part of the of any type of organization. In case of any type of QMS series, ISO series, and you can watch related to that. And in case of introductory part, you can watch my previous videos. So yeah, thank you so much.